Hey, welcome back. I'm Adam Hill. In this video, we're going to be building this wood garden gate. I made 4 of these about 10 years ago, and they've held up perfectly. I love them. I needed one more just to finish off the garden. And if it ever stops snowing this winter, maybe later on we can actually install it. But for now, let me show you how to build your own. And this is another sponsored video from Lowe's. They've provided this DeWalt miter saw and stand. And you'll see me using it throughout the video. I also have some other DeWalt tools that I'll be using, and I'll put all the links to these tools in the video description so you can check them out. There's so many options when it comes to this top portion. You can really have fun with it and come up with a design that suits your style and personality. It's not expensive. I think these were just about $4 a piece, and I found them at a local metal supply. Now the wood is real simple. It's just the fence lumber over in the lumber section. So head down there and you're gonna get some of these fence boards. You can see the dog ear cut. There's just regular cedar fence boards. And then you'll need a few cedar 2x4s like this. Now you just wanna make sure you look down the edge. If you look and have your eye look down the edge, you can see how curved they are. You wanna get it as straight as you can, especially for the side pieces. You want those nice and straight. So take your time and pick out some nice pieces of wood. All of these, even though they look straight, the ends of these 2x4s are probably going to be a little bit off. So you want to make sure you cut about 1 inch off of the ends. Always cut both sides. That way, when you're gluing it up, you're going to make sure you have nice straight ends to glue and you won't have any gaps or surprises later on. Boy, a new blade. You just don't know how bad your old blades are until you've tried out a new one. It's been too long. I have a miter saw that I already use, and boy, this cuts through like you're not even touching the wood. So we are done cutting up this wood, and we're ready to glue this bottom panel together now. There's 3 boards that are going to go together, and you want to arrange these so that you don't have a big gap between the boards. So play around with it a little bit. Make sure you're getting a small gap. We could just clamp that together and get rid of it. I've added an extra inch of wood on the edges so that when we clamp it, we don't have to worry about it being perfect. Once it's dry, we just cut off the excess, and then it's going to fit nice, and then we'll have a nice clean edge. If you don't have clamps, you can just drive some wood screws up through here with some glue in between, and then some more wood screws up through here, and that'll work. Okay, before I clamp it, and since I already own a biscuit joiner, I'm going to throw about 6 biscuits in here just to help the boards not shift. Now this thing cuts a slot into both sides of the board, and you can put this little wafer of wood in there, glues in, and that way it stops the boards maybe from coming apart later. It adds a lot of strength to it. You could just do the same thing just by throwing some screws up through there, some really long wood screws. But since I already own this, I'm going to use it. So I'll let this sit at least 30 minutes. It's kind of cold in here, probably take a bit longer, but we'll come back to this in a minute. Now we're attaching all the boards together with these 6-inch galvanized bolts, and I'm going to use a 7/8 spade bit to countersink the head. It's a 3/8 bit, straight through. So now that I've drilled all the way through, I've put this board back, and it's exactly where I want it. I'm going to carefully insert this and go ahead and make a mark on this board so I know where to drill. Okay, and now you can see that dot there. Switch bits down to, what is this, a quarter. Now with a 1/4 inch bit, Just finish the hole. Little glue on the end to help keep it in place. All right, should be dry enough now. We can cut off the ends and attach this part. This isn't really a tool review video. I'll do that later on this model, but it's nice to have a saw that can cut so deep. It can cut 16 inches this way and just over 6 inches high. So you could actually have a 6x6 block and cut through it. It's really nice. You know, it does the standard bevel this way, but also you can undo this knob there and the whole blade will tilt like that. And this bottom piece will go right in there. Tighten these up with some bolts, a couple biscuits, and glue. If you don't want to do that, you can put in 2 bolts like that or a bolt like this and a wood screw. It's up to you. And there we are done with the frame. These boards want to pull out a little bit, so while the glue's drying, I put a clamp on there just to give it a little extra support. We'll put this to the side and start cutting these slats that go right here in the middle. On this rest, you can flick up the stop, butt the wood up against it, and I already measured exactly where I need to cut, and then you just make a bunch of repeat cuts. It's real easy. These are all the boards that go on the inside. I prefer to have them alternating widths, so you'd have a wide, a thin, a wide, a thin. So all we need to do is cut 2 inches and then leave 3 1/4 on this half. All right, so these slats are cut now. You have thin, wide, thin, wide, thin, wide, thin, wide. And then at the very end, once these are spaced in, I'll cut one last piece there. I have 4 of these small rails that I already cut and have pilot holes in. And that's where these little galvanized finishing nails are gonna go. I'll put one here, and that helps hold these boards in place. Flip it over, then put one there and there. Keeps them in the middle. This scrap will just be used to help space the boards evenly, so I don't have to measure each one. I'm going to put a finishing nail on the end so it won't move around like that. Get the spacer. Once all these are in, you can cut this last piece and put this one in. You'll know exactly the size you need. So now we can finish up the rest of the woodwork and lock these slats in place. Just like the other side, I have 2 rails. I'm going to nail one in the top there and one in the bottom, and then we can go finish up this part. Alright, so we're done with this for now. Let's do the ironwork. Painting with snow. All right, well, that'll do it for this video. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions on how to build this gate, go ahead and leave them in the comments section. Also, if you built your own and maybe you changed up the design and want to send me a picture, I'd love to see it. And again, big thanks to Lowe's for sponsoring this video. They provided this DeWalt miter saw and stand. It's been nice using that for this project. This would have also been helpful for the last project where we built those patio steps. It's nice to have a stand that will support the ends of the boards and you can stand up while you cut as well. The next project will be our last Lowe's sponsored video. It will be a mini skateboard ramp. We might actually build it right here in the basement. Something fun and small that you can transport maybe in and out of the garage or just keep it in your house. It's got to fit through a doorway. I don't want it stuck down here. So anyway, we'll look forward to that. I will see you guys next time. Take care and have an awesome day. And by the way, I included links to the tools and materials in the video description. Also, I drew up some plans for this project and they're detailed with measurements. Those are available for free in the video description as well.